Good morning, everyone. April the 25th, another day in lockdown, and our lockdown will continue for those of us in the church. It's going to continue for the foreseeable future. Others in industry will, from Friday, in very limited circumstances, be permitted to go back to doing work. And so you're going to have to put up with a lot more of me and these little messages. I do hope you find them encouraging. Today, we remember in our readings the man known to us as Mark, and we immediately recognize him as being the author of the Gospel, Mark, a renowned author. So good was this Gospel of Mark, the first of the synoptic Gospels to be written, that to a very large extent, Matthew and Luke base their writings on the work of this one man, Mark. But the introduction to Mark earlier on in Scripture shows him to be a much younger man, and he made numerous errors, which got him into some trouble. Just very briefly, Mark, as a young man, was invited to go on a missionary journey with Barnabas and Paul. And at some point in that missionary journey, Mark opted to return home to Jerusalem. This hugely upset Paul, who refused for a long time thereafter to have anything to do with this young man, Mark. Barnabas was a lot more accommodating, but then Barnabas was very much a gentle, encouraging kind of person. We don't know why Mark left the missionary journey. Maybe he was homesick. Maybe he had a bit of a fallout with Paul, who was super intelligent and I think could be quite irascible at times. Maybe it was because Paul had assumed the leadership. Remember, it was Barnabas who headed up one of those early missions, and then Paul assumed the leadership role. And I think rightly so. But for whatever reason, Mark left. It upset Paul, and he refused to speak to Mark. Later on, Paul actually calls for Mark. And Timothy, you have him calling for Mark, 2 Timothy chapter 4. And I share this because Mark is this famous evangelist. Our own diocese, St. Mark, the evangelist, is named after him. He is an evangelist of note. He is the author of the Gospel of Mark. But he didn't always get it right. For whatever reason, he, in Paul's mind, abandoned a missionary journey. How does that relate to us? Well, perhaps like me, you're not always perfect. Perhaps like me, you make mistakes, you get things wrong, and you upset people. But in the grace of God, he gives us an opportunity to start again. God did not punish in any way Mark. If there was any punishment that might have been due, maybe it was Paul overreacting. We don't know. But Mark goes on to become the author of the gospel, a famous evangelist. What about you? What mistakes have you made in your lives that you might think has now prohibited you from doing anything? I've had people in the church saying, I cannot be a reader or preacher or a lay minister or go into ministry because of a mistake in the past. But here's the thing. God never holds those mistakes before us. He permits us to pick ourselves up, to learn from the mistake and to carry on. And so, dear friends, what is God challenging you about? To pick up, to learn from your mistakes, pick yourself up and to move on and to continue in your ministry. Jesus needs you in the church. Don't give up. Don't run away. If nothing else, be a Mark. Pick yourself up, improve, learn, and continue. God bless. Bye-bye.